At my boyfriend's company VIP dinner, he humiliated and dumped me to impress his bosses, until his entire world collapsed. When his boss revealed I was the secret consultant behind his career-saving project, my boyfriend Daniel told everyone at the table, "She's just someone I'm about to move on from." Then he invited me to his company's VIP dinner and introduced me as if I were a ghost. He had no idea that I wasn't just his girlfriend. I was the reason his biggest project didn't crash and burn. I had been with Daniel for almost 2 years. At first, he seemed perfect, ambitious and confident, but slowly the condescension started. "You don't really understand this kind of corporate work," he'd say. "Just let me do the talking in public, okay? You look better when you stay quiet." One evening, Daniel came home buzzing with excitement. "Big company dinner this weekend. CEO, senior managers, investors, everyone will be there." Then he looked at me coldly. "You can come, but don't say anything that makes me look incompetent." What he didn't know was simple. 3 weeks earlier, I had been hired as a lead strategy consultant to save his company's failing marketing campaign. I worked directly with the project head, but because I worked remotely and my contract was handled through a private agency, my identity never appeared in internal team communications, so Daniel never suspected a thing. He never even bothered to ask what I was doing on my laptop every night. The night of the dinner, I arrived at the rooftop venue. Daniel was already there, holding a drink and laughing with his coworkers. When he saw me, he barely nodded. "Oh, you actually came," he muttered. Turning to his team, he said dismissively, "She's just my girlfriend." Dinner began, and every time I tried to contribute to the conversation, Daniel cut me off. "She's not really in this field," he'd tell the investors. "She's exaggerating. She doesn't quite grasp the big picture of corporate strategy." The table laughed politely, following his lead. Then Daniel leaned back, looking like he owned the room. He cleared his throat and said loudly, "I think it's better to be honest. This relationship isn't working for me anymore. I'm ending it tonight." The table went silent. He added with a smirk, "She's a nice person, just not really at my level." Daniel thought he was in total control of the moment. Then, the head of the project walked in. He spotted me immediately and beamed. "Ah, you're finally here. We were all waiting for the guest of honor." Daniel frowned, confused. "Wait, you know her?" The project head laughed. "Know her? Daniel, she's the consultant who rebuilt your entire marketing strategy from scratch. The presentation you gave today? Those were her blueprints. Without her, this firm would have lost millions." The atmosphere shifted instantly. Every eye at the table moved from Daniel to me. Daniel's face went pale. "What? No, she just gives a few ideas sometimes." "No," the project head interrupted firmly. "She designed the entire architecture of the pitch. She is the reason we still have a contract." A heavy, suffocating silence fell over the table. For the first time all night, Daniel didn't look confident. He looked small. I finally spoke, my voice calm and steady. "I wasn't invited here as your guest, Daniel. I was invited because of my work." I looked him straight in the eyes. "Maybe if you had paid attention to who I actually was, instead of trying to hide me, you wouldn't be so surprised right now." I stood up to leave. Before walking away, I said, "I was never embarrassed of you. I just finally realized I don't need to be with someone who needs me to be small, so they can feel big." 2 weeks later, after an internal review of the project's origins, Daniel was let go for performance issues and taking credit for work that wasn't his. I received a full-time partnership offer. He sent me one last text. I didn't mean what I said that night. I was just stressed. I didn't reply. Respect doesn't disappear in one night. It's lost every time someone tries to dim your light. And eventually, you just move to a place where they can no longer reach you.